Nike shoes cost somewhere around $12 to make. You paid $180 for them, and you didn't just accept it. You walked out of that store feeling like you'd won something. Give me a few minutes, because the shoe was never the real product here. And once you see what Nike is actually selling you, you'll never look at a sneaker wall the same way again. This isn't an anti-Nike rant, by the way. It's just the math nobody ever shows you. Here's what almost nobody realizes. Nike is a $46 billion company. It started in 1964 as a tiny startup selling Japanese running shoes out of a car trunk. It didn't build a single sneaker back then. Honestly, it still doesn't build one today. Nike doesn't own a single factory anywhere on Earth. Your shoes are built by independent companies in Vietnam, Indonesia, and China. Nike just designs them, puts a swoosh on the box, and hands you the bill. That bill is mostly for something you can't hold in your hand. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly why you keep paying it, happily. Let's deal with the $12 number first. Real factory cost sheets, the kind shoe designers actually work from, tell a slightly different story. On a typical Air Jordan, materials run about $11. Labor adds roughly $3. Factory overhead, another $3. That's close to $17 before the shoe even leaves the building. Add ocean freight, add import duty, and you're near $20 to $25 landed in a US warehouse. Nike's own cost range sits between $16 and $40 a pair, depending on the model. So the real number isn't exactly $12, it's still almost nothing compared to $180. Here's the part most people miss. Over half of Nike's shoes are now made in Vietnam, not China. Factory workers there earn around $3 an hour. Across all its contract factories worldwide, Nike-linked manufacturing employs more than 1 million workers, and Nike directly employs exactly 0 of them. New Balance actually owns its own factories. Nike figured out decades ago it didn't need to. There's a fragile side to this too. In 2025, the US government proposed a 46% tariff on Vietnamese-made goods, the exact country now making 51% of Nike's shoes. Suddenly, that cheap $17 shoe gets a lot more expensive to bring into the country. But the shoe was never the expensive part of this business. The expensive part is something you can't hold in your hand. Last fiscal year, Nike spent $4.7 billion on what it officially calls demand creation. Translate that? Ads, athlete contracts, hype drops, every commercial that gave you goosebumps. Nike actually splits that budget into 2 buckets: brand marketing, meaning the storytelling and commercials, and sports marketing, meaning the athlete deals themselves. Back in 2018, that total number was $3.6 billion. It has climbed almost every year since. And here's the part that should stop you. The same year Nike spent that $4.7 billion, its actual revenue fell 10%, down to $46.3 billion. Sales going down, marketing spend going up. Nike figured out decades ago that the moment you stop reminding people why they want you, they stop wanting you. Footwear alone still pulled in $29.5 billion that year, and Nike's gross margin runs around 44%, meaning roughly 44 cents of every dollar you spend is profit before Nike even pays a single marketing bill. You're not just paying for foam and laces, you're funding the next ad that makes someone else want the same shoes. And nobody profits from that machine more than a man who hasn't played a single NBA game since 2003. Michael Jordan retired for good over 20 years ago. Jordan Brand still generated more than $7 billion last year. Billion with a B. It has doubled in size since 2020, during a global pandemic that crushed most of retail. Jordan reportedly takes home an estimated 5% royalty on that revenue. That's somewhere around $250 to $300 million a year, for a man who last dunked in a game before most smartphones even existed. Since the deal started in 1984, Nike has paid him an estimated $2.35 billion total. He's never touched a shoebox, never run a factory. He just lent his name to a feeling, and that feeling is still printing money 4 decades later. And Jordan isn't even the only one. LeBron James reportedly signed a lifetime Nike deal in 2015, said to be worth over $1 billion across his career, for wearing shoes he was going to wear anyway. So who else is taking a slice of your $180? Nike typically sells that shoe to the store for around $90, roughly half the sticker price. Out of that $90, the factory has already taken its cut for materials and labor, and Nike keeps most of the rest to fund its own marketing, research, and profit. Then the store sells it to you for the full $180, keeping that other $90 as its margin, before rent, staff, and unsold inventory quietly eat into it. Do the actual math on the shoe itself. Something that costs $17 to $40 to build is only about 10% to 22% of what you just paid. The other 80% or so of your money never touches the product at all. Here's the part that genuinely surprised me. In 2021, German investigators hid GPS trackers inside brand new Nike shoes, then returned them exactly like a normal customer would. No damage, no wear, fresh out of the box. The trackers led straight to a recycling facility in Belgium, where the shoes were shredded. Not resold, not donated, shredded. Nike said the tracker itself had altered the shoe, making it unsafe to resell. Investigators said they personally watched plenty of untouched, unworn pairs go through that same shredder. Nike markets itself as a sustainability leader through a campaign called Move to Zero. This investigation made that branding a little harder to believe. Either way, one thing became obvious. Nike will destroy a shoe before it lets that shoe sit on a clearance rack for $40. Because a discounted Nike sitting in a bargain bin breaks the entire illusion. And that illusion is the whole business model. Economists actually have a name for this, the Veblen effect. A product where a higher price doesn't scare buyers away, it attracts them. The $180 tag isn't a pricing accident, it is the product. Sneaker resale markets prove it every week. Certain limited drops flip for 5, 10, sometimes 20 times retail within hours of release. Nike even built an entire app just for this moment, SNKRS. It turns buying a shoe into a lottery. Limited pairs, random raffle entries, a countdown clock ticking before you're even allowed to pay full price. That's not customer service, that's manufactured urgency, engineered on purpose. You were never buying rubber and mesh, you were buying proof. Proof you can afford it, proof you belong to something, proof you're not just anybody in a $20 pair of shoes. That feeling is worth more to your brain than the $168 sitting back in your bank account. So you hand it over, gladly. Add it all up for a second. A shoe that costs somewhere between $17 and $40 to build. A $4.7 billion marketing machine keeping you emotionally attached to it. A $7 billion royalty empire built on a man who retired in 2003. All wrapped around one little swoosh. None of that shows up on the price tag, but every bit of it is baked into the $180. Adidas, Puma, and every other competitor has tried to copy this exact playbook for years. Almost none of them have pulled it off at Nike's scale. So, no, Nike didn't trick you. Somewhere deep down, you already suspected that shoe didn't really cost $180 to build. You paid for the story anyway. And somewhere between the commercial and the checkout line, you started thanking them for letting you buy it. That's not a scam. Since 1988, when Just Do It first aired, Nike has been running the single most profitable psychology lesson in retail history. And honestly, most of us would sign up for it again tomorrow. So tell me, did you already know the real number? Or did I just ruin your favorite pair of sneakers?